Greetings, how's everyone? I would like to thank everyone for giving me this opportunity to come and speak to you. As he said, that I would be more than happy and honored to answer any questions that you have. A little bit about myself. I've been a holistic health practitioner for 23 years. I'm the father of 3 beautiful children. My oldest daughter, Samaya, is at St. John's University in New York. My second oldest son is at Cal State Dominguez, and I have a 15-month-old. It's the love of my life. His name is Prince. And so I've been a strict vegan for 13 years. Before that time, I was a vegetarian. I've never drank, I've never smoked. Today, I would like to talk to you about the connection with nature as well as faith. You know, I truly believe, growing up in the church, that the Bible is not just a book to address the needs of the physical man, but to address the needs of the mental and the spiritual man. In fact about it, when we look at this earth that we live on, there's so many dimensions to it. But as we look on the earth, we see beautiful colors. We see an expression of the divine. And I would just like to walk very gently with you through some scripture that most of you are already familiar with, but at the same time to highlight those points and make a connection with our health. Because in Harmony Herb Company, the company that I founded, our slogan is, invest in your health and your body shall receive the wealth. I want to talk about soul, soil, and self. The soil is the skin of the earth. When we look at nature, it gives us an opportunity for our nature to be nurtured. I'm going to highlight a couple of verses in the Bible. In the book of Numbers, chapter 11, verse 5, it talks about the properties of garlic. In the book of Psalms, chapter 51, verse 7, it talks about the herb hyssop. In the book of Exodus, chapter 3, verse 22, it mentions the power of cinnamon. In the book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 8, it mentions the power of peppermint. In the book of Genesis, chapter 30, verse 14 through 16, it mentions the power of the herb mandrake. In the book of Job, chapter 30, verse 3 through 4, it mentions the power of marshmallow. And all of us are familiar with the herb myrrh and frankincense. Now, lay that down as a context to speak freely and as we're going to entertain questions at the end. The human being is a microcosm of the entire universe. My body is 75% water. My brain is 90% water. The earth is 75% water and 25% mass. But on this earth, every single plant and herb has been touched with the miraculous healing power of the divine creation. So when we look at the list of these herbs right here, did you know that the full benefit of garlic not only lowers blood pressure, but helps with cholesterol? Did you know that the power, when the Bible says in the book of Psalms, purge me with hyssop? Well, hyssop is an herb that deals with inflammation. Hyssop is a herb that not only deals with inflammation, but it also is used for individuals that have arthritis. These are certain benefits that these herbs have as healing properties. At a certain time in our history, human beings have been conditioned to believe in medicine. And I'm not here to discuss that debate. But what I am here to discuss is the power of nature to change our lives. If the human being is made up of water, I think that we should put water in our bodies. If the human being is made of minerals and we come from the dust of the earth, then we are a manifestation of all the micronutrients that are in the earth. So my body is made of oxygen, minerals, and micronutrients. So when did we begin to experience dis-ease? And why is it that we have to experience dis-ease? I was told earlier that someone said to me that they had been praying and praying and praying for healing. And I truly believe in the power of prayer to heal. But I also believe that we have free will. The power to choose what you're going to put into your body. Life renders life and death renders death. So when we look at nature, and at this time I want to pass these out once you finish with that. Thank you. I want to show you the power of nature in forms. I want to show you various fruits and vegetables and how they connect with every organ and gland and cell inside the human body. So let's first begin with the book of Genesis, where it talks about the debate with the apple. It talks about that. So did you know that there are 7 different apples in the world? But this apple is a blessing from God because in the apple is fiber. And why do we need fiber? For our colon to function properly. In the apple is pure distilled water, which my body needs to absorb. In the apple is B12, which sends a signal to my brain that I am full. So the apple fits the matrix of my cells. So life renders life and death renders death. If you look, it shows a comparison between the different organs in the body as well as the various fruits and vegetables. Now, I see there are several books on the Daniel fast that you guys are studying. Could I see a copy of that, just the front cover of it? Someone had a copy of the book? Daniel plant, yes, the Daniel plant, yes. I just wanted to see a front cover of it, yes. The Daniel plant, okay, yeah, I've seen that, okay. Just wanted to make sure. So, what would happen to you if you ate raw food for 30 days? She would lose weight. Okay. Well, not only would you lose weight, but guess what? Every single fruit and vegetable has a spirit and has an energy attached to it. So if the soil is a blessing from the divine, and it is, if the soil nurtures our nature, so life renders life and death renders death. But when you eat from nature, it not only feeds your physical body, but it feeds your mental and your spirit. The total way that we act and conduct ourselves is based upon what we put in our body. It is amazing to me how the pharmaceutical companies, this is just a little point. Okay. It is amazing to me how they have been able to convince people to take medicine. There are so many commercials. I love them. It shows a woman walking, and she says, if you have this particular issue, contact your doctor. And at the bottom it says, and then you hear the voiceover, this product could cause you to have thoughts of suicide, backaches, and several other issues. Why don't I just keep what I have? At least I'm not thinking about killing myself. I can just have my cane and I can just hop around with whatever I have. Okay. So to suffice it to say that there's over 260,000 herbs in nature to bring harmony and balance to the body. And when you look in the Bible, let's look at the herb in the book of Genesis, chapter 30, verse 14 through 16, where it talks about mandrake. Now, mandrake is a herb that numerous scientists have discerned. When you take mandrake, it has an abundance of fiber. Now, why is fiber essential? If you eat 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, that's 21 meals, correct? Well, if you eat a meal that doesn't have oxygen, minerals, and fiber, then the body cannot read it and you cannot eliminate. The purpose of eating food is not to feed the physical body, but to feed the cells. But you, not only are you what you eat, but you are what you absorb. So if life renders life and death renders death, then you want to talk about a spirit of love, of peace, of happiness, of joy. When you're able to have a conversation with a person, their countenance, the way that they interact with a person, their ability to be truthful, their ability to be authentic is based upon what? Their belief, their spirit. Well, where does this come from? So is there a connection between the soil, the spirit, and the self? I would say so. Because after a 30-day fast of eating nothing but fruits and vegetables, you may need at the most 3 hours of sleep. Why? Because the liver doesn't have to work that hard to break down all the toxins of the food that you eat. Many people say, well, you know, it's okay to drink a little bit, to get a little buzz. It's okay. Well, what's really happening is that the body cannot break down the toxic alcohol, so it sends a signal to the brain and cause you to have issues, right? A little bit of buzz, right? Because 90% of the brain is water. So these are just points about oxygen and life. The basic principles of health and nutrition is oxygen, water, and minerals. If the body is in a state of dis-ease, this simply means that we are putting things into our body that's breaking our body system down. But when you eat raw foods, the body can absorb it and use it. But when you put dead foods in your body, the body can't do anything with it. So if you have those 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, and it doesn't have oxygen, minerals, and micronutrients in it, the stomach begins to protrude. Why? Because it cannot break down the food. And then Dr. Doolittle says that you might have colon cancer. Just a little bit of jab, a little bit. He may say you have irritable bowel syndrome. He may say you may have acid reflux. Well, everything in nature is either acid or alkaline based upon what you're putting in your body. So if you wake up every morning and have coffee and a donut, what can the body do with that? It's going to have a tough time breaking it down. But if you put water in your body, if you put fresh fruits and vegetables in your body can break down. So we go to sleep tonight, let's get this straight, and the liver goes to work. So tomorrow morning we're going to have breakfast, which means breaking a fast. So when the body lays down, it plays tic-tac-toe at the waist. So now when you stand up in the morning time, what do you need? 100 points of power. You need live, raw foods for the body to function properly. How many of you, by raise of hands, when you wake up, you're just as tired as you was when you went to sleep? Right. Why are we so tired? Why is the body so weak and depleted? Because we don't have the water, the oxygens, and the minerals. Getting back to those 3 meals a day. 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, 21 meals. But if we're not putting the right thing in your body, then your body is going to suffer. Would you put diesel fuel in your car right now and drive it? Well, you can, but it may not work that good, right? Okay. So the same is true with your body. Look at nature. I tell people this all the time. God has a pharmacy, and it's the garden. I don't care what you know, God is the best knower. Right? I don't care what you know, God is the best knower. Right? The best knower. No one has more knowledge than God, correct? Okay. So if God created a pharmacy for us to eat food from, then why did we decide not to follow that? Have you ever seen anyone smoke and drink and eat any and everything full of energy and vitality? Their skin is glowing, they look excellent, they live to be 80, 90 years old? Well, let me close with this. Just a little jab. If doctors have supreme wisdom, then they should have supreme health. You see, because if you're going to school for 8 years and study health and nutrition, then you ought to be able to not tell us about health and nutrition. We ought to see you jumping in the room. How you doing today? You're not feeling too good? Well, I'm feeling great. You see, I eat fruits and vegetables. I exercise. I'm at my best. But the doctor comes in there and says, what's wrong with you? Now, he's not necessarily at his best, because doctors basically do what? Remove body parts and prescribe medicine, right? Well, it's unfortunate. So you have to make a choice. Life renders life, and death renders death. When you put live foods in your body, it cultivates your spirit. You have a different disposition. When you eat animals, you have a different disposition. And I would like to encourage you, try eating raw foods for 30 days. You can do it. Try drinking nothing but water. Watch your skin clear up. Watch you have more energy, more vitality. I know it's tough, but you can do it. And then after a while, it becomes easy. People ask me all the time, don't you miss meat? No, I don't miss meat. You see, let me tell you a funny story. There's 10 of us in my family, 8 boys and 2 girls. I'm the baby. So by the time I got home, all the meat was gone. I had no choice. I have any choice. See? So, the real story. So, I had no choice but to eat the soup that was left. The meat was gone. You know, I lived in a family of 8 boys, and it was every man for himself, you know. I didn't have the nurturing type of big brothers. You had to take care of your own. But I want to encourage you, and I want you to marry your faith with nature. I want to encourage you to go back to the garden. I want to encourage you to understand the power that you have of being one with nature. Do you know how good it feels to take off your shoes and just walk in nature? Just to be still? Cannot you just slow down your thoughts and just think of this for a moment? A seed can be planted, and God created the law of germination. God gave us the sun. God gave us the air. God gave us the water. And not one apple come up, but enough apples for all of us to eat. That's the miraculous power of God. And when we eat that apple, it gives us what the body needs. Isn't that amazing? And it's done over and over and over and over again. The power of God in nature. And so when I eat an apple, I'm not feeding my lower self. I'm feeding my higher self. Because life renders life and death renders death. Am I at my time? You're at your time. Okay.
She will now entertain questions, and I'll make sure, did everyone sign this? Okay, I'll bring it to this up.
Yes, sir. No milk.
All right, so you're vegan?
Yes.
Tell them why no milk.
Why no milk? Yes. You know, unfortunately, naturalnews.com did a study. 67% of cows tested positive for the leukemia virus. Okay, so any person that has leukemia, you can look back in their history and they consumed a lot of milk and a lot of cereal. Milk, the cows, unfortunately, 20 years ago you could drink milk. 20 years ago you could have a steak. But they're shot up with so many antibiotics because America, unfortunately, is a corporation. It's about rush to make money. Okay, it's greed, unfortunately. So what happens is that we're not designed to do that. Now, I will say this, that hemp milk, almond milk, and rice milk are the best milks to consume. Nature provided us with an intelligent system. So when you were conceived and entering into the second trimester, nature molecularly structured your mom to be able to have milk for you in the breast. When and what time we decide to take our mouths and put it on the cow, I don't know when that happened, but no, we're not supposed to consume milk. There are many other sources that we can get calcium, and I can explain that later. But yeah, leave the milk alone. It's not good. Yes. Yes, great question.
It's all the whole wheat stuff. Sometimes I look at it and I'm like, did I make sense? I mean, really whole wheat? But I get it.
Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah, it's a great question. Unfortunately, a lot of things can be called organic, natural, et cetera, et cetera. It's a great question. Quinoa is the best choice. And that's the best choice of that. If you're allergic to quinoa, then they have the organic brown grain. And then they also have the jasmine, which is excellent, that they use in Ayurvedic healing and treatments. So that would be another choice as well. Yes. Uh-huh. Yes. Yes. From India, it's the Ayurvedic, yeah. Mm-hmm. Any other questions someone have? Yes, ma'am.
I'm speaking for my husband right here.
Okay. Yes, that's a great question about allergies. So 75% of the immune system is in the intestines. The largest organ is in the skin. So when an individual has allergies, that means they have a very compromised immune system. Okay? So now nature has blessed us. In Peru, I have a product here called Camu Camu. Camu Camu has the highest concentration of what is called vitamin C. 1 tablespoon of this is equivalent to 9 oranges. Now, what happens is this, is that when this product gets into the body, it not only boosts the immune system, but the body doesn't produce a manufactured vitamin C. So taking a consistent diet of vitamin C with water will boost the immune system to fight off the myriad of allergies. Also, have to take into consideration, children are going to not only emulate the parent, but a child takes on the immune system of the mother and the collective energy and oxygen level in the home. This is something I get going to in great depths, and we don't have time here. But imagine this is your home, right? Well, the oxygen quality inside of the home is compromised by Lysol, Febreze, bleach, and all the things that we use to clean. It changes the oxygen level there. The soaps that we use. Anything that you put on your skin becomes a part of your immune system via the skin through the blood. So we have to take all of that into consideration. Very challenging. But the first thing is to build the defense, i.e. the immune system, and by putting some organic substance in the body, the camu that will fight that off. The next thing is consistent exercise and drinking nothing but oxygen-based water. That's what I would say. I'm glad you asked. Okay. So this is the best water in the world. I'll give it to you. 1 gallon of distilled water. Yes, you can write it down if you want to. 1 gallon of distilled water. 5 organic lemons. 5 organic limes. And the herb anise. Anise. 5 organic lemons, 5 organic limes, and the herb anise. Just 2 stars. They come in the little, you look in the season section in the store, they come little package of stars. There's about 10 stars in there. You just need 2. And what you do with that water, you let it sit in there and hydrate. And that gives you pure oxygen-based water. That's the best water to drink. Half a gallon. Yes.
Do you squeeze the lemons and limes?
Yes. So you cut the organic, I'm sorry, let me explain full detail. So you have a gallon of distilled water, you squeeze the lemons and limes, and then you put it in a pitcher. And you take the 2 stars of anise and sit them there. Let it absorb in the water. And then you drink at room temperature because the body is 98 degrees. So what happens is when you drink cold water, you drink water corresponding to the degrees outside. So now it's hotter outside, so you can drink a little bit colder water. But in the temperature where you drink cold water, that sometimes you get a rush headache because 20% of the blood from the heart goes to the brain. So when you're drinking that cold water, it's changing the chemistry of the body's temperature, and that's putting the body in compromise. So it's sending that signal to calm it down. So it's working hard to cool that body down. So you want to drink room temperature water. And you can drink that all throughout the week. Ladies first. Yes, ma'am.
My husband he wanted me to ask about middle back pain. He's been gluten-free for a few years, and that changed it drastically, but now he just can't get rid of it. Is there anything else that he can do?
Yes, absolutely. There's several things that he can do. So any type of pain in the body is controlled by the central nervous system. So what has to happen is that was it an injury that caused it? It just developed over a period of time?
The last doctor said it was inflammation.
Inflammation.
So that's why he went gluten-free.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, so there are several herbs in God's kingdom that can remedy that. And so I have a herbal formula for that pain. The 2 herbs that I use in that formula are cat's claw and devil's claw. These herbs deal with the central nervous system and deal with the pain. And so you can go to my website, harmonyherbcompany.com, and we have those products available that can deal with that. And then the other things, I would show him how to breathe properly, because a lot of people are not breathing properly. And the last thing I would show him, we can look at the essential oil myrrh. We also can look at patchouli, rubbing that on the area right there, and that will aid in that process as well. But I'd be more than happy to speak with him, see what we can do to help. Yes. Yes, sir.
So, I know you were saying something about, the skin being the largest organ in that area, what you wash up with. What would you recommend washing up with, not regular body wash?
It's a great question. The most powerful supplement to wash the body with is lavender. Lavender, organic lavender is the best. 100% lavender. And there's several others, but nothing is like lavender. That's what I'd recommend.
Do you use an oil for it, or how do you?
You can get it in a pure organic bar soap, or you can get it that's broken down in our organic. Desert Essence is a company that has an excellent one. And you can get that lavender and use it in that. It's really good. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
I have really bad carpal tunnel, and they told me that to get rid of it, I would need surgery at this point.
Yes.
Do you have any herbs that could reverse? Like, do I have to have, like, I don't want to have surgery. So do you have anything natural that would alleviate the pain and make my hand functional again?
Absolutely. And that's a good thing that you don't want to have surgery. Because once you begin that ball rolling, keep spiraling. Several things we could do. The first thing is that we have to deal with a full body detox. Dealing with a full body detox will put the body in a state in which it can begin to heal. You see, everything happens through absorption. You can eat whatever you want, but in the stomach, in the villi, the small intestines, that's where we absorb. So every time that we eat a food, like give an example. Let's say this is a plate of food, and let's say there's, oh, God forbid, but let's say there's some chicken there. And then there's some other things on the plate, right? Okay. Just to give you a visual. Okay. So now you look at this plate and you say, okay, I'm going to eat this, right? So then you begin to eat this. But you don't survive off this big plate of food. By the time the body breaks it down, it's in small increments. Now the villi can absorb that. But if we eat all of that food, it just goes out the elimination channel. That's so sometimes you can go and eat at a restaurant at like 4 o'clock and you're hungry again at 8 o'clock because there's no life, there's no nutrients there. So the body's still striving for that. So the thing to look at is our food becoming our medicine and healing our body. So we have to begin the cleanse and the detox so the body can absorb. Once the body can absorb, then it puts the body in a state of defense in which the body can heal. And then there are several herbs that you can take that can deal specifically for the pain. There's several essential oils that you can put on the body as well. So I'd be more than happy to help you. We pass out my cards. I'm more than happy to help you if you're interested. Yes, sir.
One more question. You take on fish, is that okay to eat?
Fish? I don't eat anything that runs, jumps, or flies. Or swims. Fish jumps out of water, so. Yes, ma'am.
I've been told that chronic fatigue has something to do with bacteria in your intestines. Is that accurate, number one? And number two, what do I do about it?
Yes, it's definitely accurate. You see, because the middle of us, from our head to our feet, the middle, this right here is the distribution. The stomach is the third brain. The stomach produces the same level of serotonin as the brain. So this right here is a sacred area for us, our stomach. So having healthy bacteria, you hear a lot of doctors prescribing acidophilus. You hear a lot of doctors describing taking digestive enzymes. Well, alfalfa, let me close with you about alfalfa, one of my favorite herbs. Everyone in this room has heard of alfalfa?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let me tell you a little bit about it really quick as we close. So alfalfa roots grow 120 feet in the soil. They pull up 16 of the branched chain amino acids. Alfalfa has a full spectrum of vitamin A, which is an antioxidant, vitamin C, which is an antioxidant, and it's also water soluble. When you put organic alfalfa inside of your body, that helps to bring back the balance in the acid-alkaline balance inside of the stomach. So what has to happen is, number one, putting you on a dietary plan that we can observe everything that's going into your body, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's number one. Number two, putting the oxygen-based water in your body and then slightly cleansing out the digestive tract with the organic alfalfa. Putting that in the body, that will change that condition anywhere from 30 to 45 days. The reason I say that is because the body is on a cycle. It constantly heals and replenishes that. Can I have 1 extra minute to say this really quick, please? Thank you. Okay, so Dr. Deepak Chopra, in his book, Ageless Mind and Timeless Body, he's a world-renowned author, scientist, and doctor. He documented in his book that there's a study called radioisotope studies. I really like for everyone to really get this point because this is very powerful for you to know as a person. And I'll say this. You reserve the right to question any doctor in a most respectful way. Okay? And we have to begin to ask these questions. Now, according to Dr. Deepak Chopra's study on radioisotope studies, and you can Google this, the body designs a new stomach every 5 days. The body makes new red blood cells every 90 days, white blood cells every 120 days. The body designs a new liver every 6 months, a new pancreas every 8 months, a new skeleton every 11 months. The body renews itself totally in 1 year. And this is how we can prove it. Today, I'm 43 years old. At 14 was one of my happiest birthdays. I'm going towards 44. Where's the 14-year-old me? Here's the 43-year-old me, and the future of me is going forward, about to be 44. So I'm past, present, and future, which means I come from my parents, I'm here now, and I've gone in the future with my children. So I'm past, present, and future. The body is constantly renewing itself. You can look at a picture of yourself 10 years ago, and you can see more youthfulness in your picture, right? But at the same time, you also can connect with where you are right now, where you're going. We are divinely designed by God. And you have to infuse your faith with health and nutrition once again. It's not to say, oh, I'm going to eat healthy. No, just eat life. Just eat life. Eat from God's pharmacy, because your body will begin to heal. Your body will begin to replenish and do things that you didn't think it could do. It's a travesty right now, 43 years old. Some of my contemporaries are just going through high blood pressure, cholesterol. I haven't seen a doctor since I was 16 years old. What do I need to see them for? Can I say this without getting in trouble? Here goes my story. So let's say I'm a used car salesman, and I've told everyone in this room that I have the best used cars. You come to my car lot and you say, oh, I like that car, I like that car, I like that car. Excellent. I give you the keys. You start it up and you say, I want that car. We go inside the office, fill out the paperwork, find out your credit is good. Excellent. Now we sign the paperwork. We give you the keys. And before you get in the car, I say, wait a minute. Now, before you drive off the lot, this car is going to start leaking oil. The windows are going to go up and down. It's going to start shaking. But I'm not responsible. Would you take that car? Well, if 62% of people in America are on medication and nobody getting healthy, why are you still going? Listen, if one person in this room came to me in this community and said, I went to Aline for high blood pressure and now it's worse, would you go to me? Yeah, I'm really going to go use him now because your high blood pressure is really higher. And then nobody would do that, right? Come on. I want to thank you guys so much for giving